good. Hello,
Hi,
I'm Raphael.
and I'm Lorraine.
And what are we?
We're bringing you the Light of the Half the Soul series. Okay, so what are we going to talk about tonight? You know, there's been changes, the time change has just happened, and I know a lot of people don't like it, they complain about it.
They have a hard time adjusting.
Adjusting, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we were just talking about there being articles about how it affects our pets and our animals,
Yes.
and it
yes.
just, you know, really from my point of view, I've been dealing with it all my life. But I think as we get older, or as time seems to be speeding up in the universe, they're just, people have trouble overall, not even time related, but people have trouble with change.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, things, you know, time is missing, or you're just not in alignment anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, you know, it's about dealing with those complaints. It's about dealing with things we can't change, but we complain about them anyways, right?
Mm. I think, realistically, people always have a hard time. They always want to control absolutely everything. So things that they cannot change, it's such a big shock to their system, and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. So complaining seems to be productive because it's other people are like, yeah, I know, I feel that too.
Yeah,
And,
well, they get validation,
you know,
right?
yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's a victim consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
what it boils down to, right? You know,
Mhm.
like, what do you want to take ownership of? Do you want to take ownership of complaining all the time, or gathering up that energy and comrades with people who do as well? I mean, it's one thing to lift yourself up just because other people agree with you, but if it's something that you can't even change,
It's
you know,
I always feel like you just have to go with the flow. Things that you can't control things in life, and something so simple that we've been dealing with all our life, like time change. You have to go with the flow. It's we adjust. We will survive.
yeah.
And we will get through this.
Yeah.
And
I think people sometimes, sorry to talk over you, but I think people sometimes just get in that mentality of group, and that group mentality too. And people want to all, you know, fit in. So, oh, everyone's complaining about the time, I'll talk about that too, even though it doesn't bother me. And then you're just kind of caught up in everything, right? But really, soul alignment, right?
Yeah.
Like how to align the soul. Like what we can do with that.
Well, aligning the soul, like for.
Sorry, we're laughing. Her cat is over there making a ruckus, and
Yeah.
you know how it goes. Live video. Well, it's live as we're recording this. Anyhow, sorry, you were saying.
Train of thought gone.
Poof.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Loki. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Things we can't change.
He's named well.
Right? Yes. We can't change,
No.
you know, what's going on. We can't adjust that, and all we can really do is march forward.
And
So-
speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, and hope that, you know, he figures things out. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. So you were talking about like asking questions, like.
Oh, I think, yeah, like asking questions of like, okay, like if you can't control things, and it's, ask yourself 3 questions basically. Is,
Okay.
or like, does this, affect me long term? Does this affect me,
Okay, so what number one? Number one could be like, am I making this harder than it needs to be?
yeah, dwelling on it,
Yeah.
putting extra energy on
Yeah.
it.
I mean, because that gets to the crux of things
Mhm.
right then and there. And it's like, well, yes, I am making it harder than it needs to be, then you can change it. If it's like, well, no, I need to figure this out, then that's a different, going down a different road altogether.
Yes.
Yeah. So, number 2, what would be what? What do you think?
Number 2. Well, I don't know. Like it's really hard. It's just like, yeah, does it matter, long term?
Yeah, you're
Does
right.
Does it, is it going to affect you for the rest of your life? Is it life or death? Is it, how big is this really to make such a big issue over it? And like life's, I believe life's too short. Get over it if it's not something that is uncontrollable change.
Yeah. Is it going to matter a year from now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that you're freaking out about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good question. So
Mhm.
the third question you could ask,
So.
I think to finally decide that, you know, yes, I'm making it harder than it is, and no, it doesn't really matter. Then the
Mhm.
third should be about, well, how can I change and shift this?
Mhm.
What do you think? You know, and then that gets you in more of a problem solving
Mhm.
mentality, as opposed to just wringing your hands and, oh, I can't do anything about this, right?
I really find like people, and even I do, right? Like I have stuff going on in my life, and you kind of go into like a loop of thinking, a loop, and you just can't. I won't get personal or anything, but like, it's been, it keeps on going into a loop. But then, as soon as you kind of, I did a little bit of meditation today, and then I had to clean my house. But then I had this big, huge aha moment, and it was just like, oh my goodness, I never even thought about that, right? So just, you can't change, let it go, hence meditation, and it's just like, and get on with my life. And then it was just like, this epiphany, came to me, and it's just like, oh, a new way of looking at this. And now I feel so much better with certain things that are happening in my life.
So what you did is you kind of went, oh, this isn't working, and quieted your mind, meditation, and then you allowed yourself to relax into letting your brain just come up with the solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
Or realize that it's not as bad as it needs to be. And everyone has struggles, right?
Exactly.
Everyone has, situations in home, their family and their home that you've got to work through. So, it's...
Yeah, and like, I'm a big believer nothing happens overnight. Like, I've been dealing with this, issue, for about a week. And it's just like, oh, what am I going to do? You're stressed, loop, 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 loop. And it's just like, okay. And then poof, right? So it does take time, but it's...
Yeah, so...
Time's good sometimes.
It is, and some yeah, right? Segue back to time, right? I gained an hour. I've been getting up earlier because of the time change, thinking it's, 7 when it's 6, and it's like, oh, hey, got an extra hour to play with. So there's that. Don't talk to me in spring, though. We have to spring ahead, and that's different.
But, are they doing that?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But so just to recap, because we don't want to take up too much of your time. So 3 questions you can ask to get out of that what's wrong in my life mentality. Ask 3 questions. Okay. Number 1, does it matter?
Yeah.
No. Is that number 1?
No. Am I making this harder?
Oh yeah. Right.
Than it really needs to be.
Right. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that right there is a heads up too, that, okay, obviously I'm being a bit of a, I'm worrying about something I don't need to worry about just by asking that question, right? Because if you have to ask that question, clearly the answer is yes, I am making it harder than it needs to be. And when we're in that mentality, we can't be in a troubleshooting mode. We can't be in a how to fix it mode, because we're too busy focused on the problem. And as Einstein says, or if he's the one who said it, you can't find the solution to a problem with the same mind that created it. So,
true.
There you go.
Yeah.
So 1, am I making it harder than it needs to be? And 2, does it matter?
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? Right? It might put a couple of hiccups in your life. It might do, turn your life a little bit upside down. But guess what? It keeps on rolling, and you get back on track.
Yeah. Is it going to matter a year from now? That's part of the same question, by the way. But the third question is, how can I shift from here? Yeah. How can I change this? How can I shift and make this better from this situation? And it all starts with your mentality.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
When you can raise your vibration, you're going to come up with better solutions. You're going to come up with reasons why it's happening, and maybe there's lessons to learn in whatever scenario you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So, should we pull a couple cards?
I think so.
All right.
I think that might be a good idea.
Right. So
which ones?
Well, you have a deck there, and I've got mine. You go first. What do you have there?
a big mess now. I like these ones. Heal Yourself reading cards.
Ooh,
by
nice.
Ina Segal.
Ina Segal?
Yes.
Wow.
They're pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And supposedly she's a master healer.
Oh, perfect. Well, we want to hear from her then.
Yeah.
Very nice. Heal yourself.
All right. So, heal yourself along these lines, right?
Yeah. So what can people do to shift to a higher perspective? That would be my question. I don't know if that's what you want to
I like
ask.
that. Yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
jumper.
Jumper.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right.
Ha. Perfect.
Courage.
Courage.
Can you see that? A little bit.
I can see it.
All right. That's
Trust us. It
yes.
says courage.
Courage. So, what do you get from that?
Well, it's obvious. It's like have the courage to look at things from a higher perspective. Have the courage to ask those 3 questions of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does it matter, or am I making it harder than it needs to be? Does it matter, and what can I do to shift it?
Exactly, and don't sit there and wallow and want to stay in the same spot and just complain.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage to move forward. So
It takes courage to admit when you're wrong or admit when you're in a lower vibration.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage to do that. So.
It does. So I think it's just, I feel like a lot of movement forward with
Mm-hmm.
this is just like
Mm-hmm.
it takes courage to take the steps.
You know, it shows, it's kind of a freaky card if you look too closely, but it shows the guy with, a light forward. And he's like, whatever I'm afraid of in the dark, I'm putting the light to it so I can see what I need to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I know.
Okay, good. So I'm going to pull one too. This is the Secret Language of Light cards. Yeah. So let's pull one from here. So raising our vibration, what can we do to shift to a higher perspective? Come on, cards. Oh, that one. Sensitivity. Ooh, that's a nice one too.
It's a rose, right?
Yeah. So really, it's about allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Allowing yourself to understand that we're only human and we get caught up in the sensationalism of other people. And it's okay to have that sensitivity to what's going on around you, but don't get caught up into making it your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get caught up into it has to be that way,
Yeah. I see going on my mind is take time to smell the roses. Stop and smell the flowers. There's good things.
I like that. Yeah.
Going for a walk. It's like we're walking through our life. Take time to enjoy all the different sensations, scents.
And there's
Beauty.
also
Yeah.
in the card, I don't know if you can see it, but there's also angel wings in there. So sensitivity is call on your guides to help you. You never have to do anything alone, right? You always have your guides there, but it's all about free will. So if you don't ask, they just kind of sit back and wait for you to ask for help. And it's not until you actually ask that they will come forward and help you. Free will means that they're not going to intervene if there's a lesson for you to learn or you don't ask. Yeah. So there you go. I think that's a good way to end for today. And always, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on our YouTube channel. And also ask questions. Let us know in the comments. What are your answers to those questions? One more time. Let's do it. 1 is, am I making it harder than it needs to be? 2, does it really matter? And 3, what can I do to shift? Right?
Yep.
Any last words?
No, I think you covered it.
Hey.
I know.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right. Have
See
a
you
good
next
night.
time.
Bye.
Peace.